In the name of Allah, the widely merciful, the ever merciful. This time we discuss the explanation of Sheikh Muhammad Ash'ari of the verse 12 and 13 and 14 of the Surah Alnnour number 24, in the Noble Quran. Surah Alnnour verse 12. Why didn't you, when you heard it, didn't the believing men and believing women had thought good thoughts right of themselves and said, this is an evident falsehood. End of translation. Allah the Almighty is directing us to what should be done in this job, concerning the confidence of the believers in themselves with their belief, and that they must think good in themselves and remain far from these accusations, which fits not the society of the believers. Thus it was on the first ear that hears this from the first tongue uttering this, is to reject it, because Allah the Almighty would never cheat on His messenger, peace be upon him, the chosen from among all of His creation, thus making His life vulnerable to doubt and accusation, moreover throwing her with this ugly crime. Quote, why didn't you, when you heard it, didn't the believing men and believing women had thought good thoughts right of themselves, end of quote, Alnnour, 12 right, and said, quote, this is an evident falsehood, end of quote, Alnnour, 12 right, before the coming down of the immunity in the Noble Quran, it was expected that it comes from the souls of the believers, from themselves, and reject this talk. And quote, why didn't, end of quote, is a tool for pertaining and urging, and said, quote, the believing men and believing women, end of quote, because many men and women ranged in this job, and the Noble Quran does not urge them to have good thoughts about the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his life, but to have good thoughts in themselves, because this matter fits not the believer, let alone the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Quote, and said, end of quote, any, before the coming down of the Quran with her innocence. Quote, this is an evident falsehood, end of quote, Alnnour, 12 right, any, a clear intentional lying and evident, because it concerns who? It concerns the mother of the believers, who've been purified by Allah the Almighty and chose her life for His messenger, peace be upon him. Then Allah the Almighty says, Surah Alnnour verse 13. Why hadn't they who slandered come up with 4 witnesses? Thus, if they have not come up with the witnesses, then it is they, in the sight of Allah, who are the liars. End of translation. And preceded that the verses mention the rule of throwing, and that on him, who throws down Musadat with adultery, he must come up with 4 witnesses to prove his sincerity in what he said, but if he fails to bring them, he is a liar with Allah the Almighty and must be subjected to the application of the limit. Surah Alnnour verse 14. And had it not been for the favor of Allah on you and His mercy in this world and the hereafter, then you would surely have been touched, for that falsehood in which you dwelt on, by a great torture. End of translation. Quote, you dwelt on, end of quote, is to hurry towards the thing in a way by which you want the rapidity, and rapidity is for the big event to take a time less than the expected, as a distance which you walk in 2 minutes. However, you speed up to do it in 1 minute, as though they hurried in this talk when they heard it. But why Allah provided them with His favor and gave them His mercy, thus the torture did not touch them, and He did not penalize them for their fabrication against the mother of the believers. They said Allah the Almighty wanted, from this incident, to be a lesson and sermon, and made a mean of clarification for the believers. The intention is not to punish them but to teach them and to give them a lesson in preserving the honor of the believers. All translations are El House.